So I'm just going to point out a little manufacturing issue with this rad support. First one I've encountered so far. One of the holes, well, it's not actually a hole. One of the bolt thingamabobs, doodad hoo-has, is too low. Look at him. So I don't know who was making this one, but I'm sorry to say you got it wrong. That's an original piece, and now I have to slot this hole to account for the fact that that's not in the center. That needs to be up probably 3 mil for that to fit. Thanks, guys. A little bit of review on your product. So far it's okay. That's my first problem, so fix it. Wondering about the spot welder. Now, this is the cheapest and most Chinesiest spot welder money could ever buy, and I bought it mainly on a whim to see if it was any good. And aside from melting the tips off the bastard occasionally, it can actually do a weld that holds. But I usually go to the 10th degree and nuke them to the point where they start melting the tips, because I just don't trust it. I mean, I've been in the crash cam where there's some horrendously expensive spot welders, and I will be buying a big barger, much more expensive one down the track. But for home use, this is not bad. Plugs into a 240 volt. Old Mr. Nacho. I don't know where it come from, but it was less than it was only about $300 Australian dollars, by the way. And it can do a good weld. I mean, it puts a lot of heat into it. Like, I've had to chisel off a few of these welds done by this guy, and they take a bit of doing to get off. So I can tell you, and I also did a destructive test shortly after buying it, going, I'll just weld something stuck together, try and chisel it apart, and you can't get it apart. And that's exceptionally hot. That is not coming off that rad support ever. I just wish I bought the one with the slightly longer arms, because the short arms, well, they can't reach anything really. You're just like, cool. Oh, and I wish there's a slightly more expensive one that's like $1,200. and it's got it's more like a rod with an adjustable length arm through it, and I might buy that one to replace this one as I slowly work my way up the scheme of things, because that height limits you to not being able to do as much as you'd like. So you almost want one that's got, like, because in the crash game you get all kinds of tips for these things. There's ones that sort of go down and then across and have like a really short height thing, and it fits in a lot of places. So, but I mean, if you just wanted one to piss fart around with, this is probably not a bad starting point. Just be mindful that after you've done a few, this thing gets well hot. Just unbelievable. But aside from doing a few more welds here and here, that rad support's on, and I'm not happy with the fact that that hole with that captive bolt is in the wrong spot. Sadly enough, I'm not actually surprised it's in the wrong spot, because I would be surprised if this rad support wasn't made in Taiwan. Yeah, it's just how the world is these days. But at least you can get it, that's something, eh? But there we go.